music at the start here. Yeah, maybe. Alright. That sounds okay? I don't know, I can hear my... Oh. Does that sound okay? Let me know if the volume's okay, guys. I'll play around with it a little bit to get it figured out at the start here. As we do have iAsonu in the bottom right-hand side, our red Zerg player. These are best of 7 games, by the way. So it is going to be a best of 7 coming up in the next few moments. As we get this ready to go. INnoVation in the top left-hand side, our blue Terran player. Ooh, I see what you guys mean about the stream being a bit laggy. It is a little bit choppy to capture, isn't it? Is it still a little bit bad? See, it's very hard for me to check because I'm literally working off of my phone as my visual source here to help me out. Yikes. Yeah, you guys will have to let me know. I see what you mean. It does look a little bit choppy, but we might just have to roll with it. It is the reality of the situation because this is what we have to work with today. You can barely hear the stream sound. I can turn that up a bit. Honestly, I mean, it was pretty quiet the other day. I just don't want it to go overboard. That should be a little bit better, I think. Again, just let me know. I can put it up a tiny bit more, and I can probably put it up even more than that. Again, we'll just play around a little bit at the start. Like I said, I've not had much of a chance to do a lot of setting up and stuff like that. So, I can definitely change the volume a little bit on the sounds that we're getting from the stream and stuff like that. So, we can do a little bit of playing around. Anyways, super fast Rotron here from iAsonu in the very first game, so already going to be seeing a little bit of aggression coming through. What's up, Dead Guy 99? Thank you so much for the fresh subscription, the fresh resub. 5 months coming in. Thank you very much for the 5-month resub. You can hear the music of SCT now. Okay, in that case, you should also have game sounds. Like the balancing between music and game sounds is something I can't affect at all. So that's something we kind of do just have to deal with. So, yeah, that's something I can't really change much more. If you can hear the music now, I don't want to put it up too much higher. So yeah, super fast roach roll in here from iAsonu. This is the kind of style I think we expect from iAsonu in these matches a lot of the time. He plays very weird styles, he plays very aggressively. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some 2-base lair aggression in this series as well. And I think if he does go to 3 or 4 bases, it's going to be a more aggressive style. It's going to be, oh, guys, Scout, INnoVation sees a roach, that's great information. But yeah, it's going to be stuff like being able to know, okay, hey, you know, INnoVation, you know, iAsonu's playing like a 2-base all-in, he's doing this, he's doing that, a Bane and Nest goes down, by the way, so it's going to be Ling Bane. So basically what happened here, INnoVation just scouted that roach, and now iAsonu's going to go mostly into Ling Bane instead of more roaches, and because of that, INnoVation will not have Hellions, which is kind of one of the big things you have against a Bane all-in, so this is actually very interesting. A mind game and a half out of iAsonu. Now, INnoVation has a bunker up. He builds a Cyclone. That's definitely not going to help too much against Ling Bane. So you can kind of see the problem right now for INnoVation. iAsonu's mind games might work out. I'm just going to be seeing a few more Lings, a few more Banelings coming forwards. We're going to see what they can get up to here is we are going to see a bit of an attempt to attack up in towards the base in the next few moments. Marines are coming down the ramp though. Oh no, INnoVation. He's been way too aggressive as Leo. He just salvaged the bunker. Oh no, INnoVation is in so much trouble here as the Marines are going to go down. I mean, his Cyclone pops out, but here the Banelings, what is the Cyclone going to do? It's locked onto a Roach. Only 4 Banes, but it doesn't matter. He busts through anyways. Now STVs are going to be pulled, but there's more Banelings still to come. And iAsonu is going to take a game number 1 here as INnoVation is looking at this. And well, he just assumed iAsonu, as I think, you know, in this situation anyone would, iAsonu was just not committing to the pressure because the Roach timing was missed. I think it's just a bit messed up, whichever way you look at it. Anyways, let's get this going. INnoVation starts in the bottom right. This time it is Cyber Forest, so apologies. Last map was Kairos Junction, had my Chinese symbols the wrong way around. So INnoVation starts up in the bottom right, iAsonu starts up in the top left. Some TvZ best of 7 action continuing. Is it best of 7? It says best of 5 here actually. Maybe the semi-finals are best of 5, and then the finals are best of 7. That would make more sense because they actually plan to do a 3rd place match today as well, and I'd be very surprised if a 3rd place match was, if they were planning to truly do 4 best of 7s, but I guess we could see. We could mute the sound and use the Do You Play app. I don't think, the thing is, so on my end the stream looks fine, so it's something to do with the capturing, it's something to do with my XSplit basically. I'm not gonna lie, this is why you should set things up ahead of time, but actually it's kind of hard to test something like this ahead of time, so honestly guys, we're just gonna deal with it. I know it's not perfect, but it seems to be good enough to watch the games, I think. So yeah, we're just gonna roll with it for now. So yeah, Team Liquid does have it as a best of 7, but it does say best of 5 there in the bottom left. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what it means. 5 Chinese symbol, 3 Chinese symbol. I think means 5 games, first to 3, basically, which is best of 5, right? So, it might be a best of 5, rather than a best of 7. So, I guess we shall see soon. I guess we'll figure out after game, someone goes up 3-1, whether we have a game number 5 or something, So, yeah. Anyways, we're, getting into this. This game starts off a bit more regularly, although it is still going to be that, non-hatchery first play. So iAsonu here, he is essentially just keeping INnoVation a little bit kind of off guard, right? By keeping things a little bit weird and wonky. It makes INnoVation think what could be happening. Keep the Reaper at home, he doesn't get to scout. Is it a roach attack? Is it not? You don't really get to find out at all here. So, yeah, not really much to kind of tell from this, as we do see Marines getting a little bit of damage on this Overlord, which is flying around. So Overlord having a bit of a flight around there. SCV on a bit of a patrol. Factory going to jump onto the reactors. That barracks is indeed going to move over to the side as well. So reacts over to that side, and yeah, otherwise starport on the way up. A couple more Hellions building. There's that third hatchery dropping down, as we pretty much did expect here as well. So, in the end, iAsonu is going to play a bit more of a regular style. Now, in the last game, I got a bit distracted about what was going on. I was talking about the builds that iAsonu might look to use in this series, so stuff like 2-base lair builds, etc. When I do see him going up to 3 bases, I still very much so from iAsonu expect aggression, but in obviously a very different form. Stuff like 50 to 60 drone attacks, big roach all-ins, that kind of thing can still work off of 3 bases. What I would be very surprised to see here today is like a true macro game that goes straight through to Hive, and we get those Hive units and those transitions, because I even feel if iAsonu plays, for example, Lingbei Muta, or Lingbei Hydra, I think he's very all-in on that composition, and he just goes to attack, attack, attack. You can see right now the Roach Rowan dropping down is the choice from iAsonu here early on, so he may very well, alongside the lair, just be going Roach speed and for those Roaches, like mentioned. Absolutely, I think one of his favoured build choices, because again, he's just a very, very aggressive player, so it really is kind of just what you expect from iAsonu a lot of the time. Let's see, a few Lings are hanging out on that ramp. Spore Crawl coming up to the top side as well, another Mule dropping in. A command center on the way up, so third CC coming through. INnoVation did start Stimpack, so it is going to be Bio as his choice of play. Just the Hellion Banshee, I mean, it's a super safe opening. And I do really imagine that we will see a lot of Hellion Banshee throughout the series, and I really kind of even thought maybe INnoVation goes Hellion Banshee game 1, just of course he saw the Roaches, so he started making Marines in a Cyclone, thinking that was the better way to deal with a straight up Roach attack. But Hellion Banshee will be much better at this stage now, where it really protects you against anything else the Zerg will do, apart from the super early attack before a Banshee comes out. So an Overseer over to the side, a couple of Evo Chambers are about to finish up, so we are going to be seeing upgrades on both sides as well, because Engineering Bays are also about to be done. Because iAsonu hasn't scouted, INnoVation's actually hitting his first Banshee, and he's going to bring the 2 Banshees around the map together. There's no control of the map on the right side, no vision at all from iAsonu, so he has no idea at all what's happening with these Banshees. And when 2 Banshees show up at the same time, they can get in here and do some pretty serious damage. I mean, like, really kind of serious damage. So, yeah, that could be really bad. Now, obviously, the Overseers are available, but it depends. Does he have an Overseer at home or not, man? INnoVation's cloaked up so early on because he's just like, well, I mean, you've got to have some vision somewhere. Not really. There is a Spore Crawler in the back here. He's just going to go for the Queen, and obviously, if the Queen goes down, doesn't matter where that Spore is, there's always going to be locations the Banshees can attack. So, this is really nice. 4 or 5 workers already. Really well done. Overseer is here and he'll have to get out, but a Queen and 5 workers and that lost mining time for both Banshees still very healthy and very able to come back in and fight again. It's a fantastic opening here. And as you see the Banshees coming back through, there's going to be another 5 workers killed here at least, and now he's going to be losing that first Banshee, which was actually just out of energy, so it was uncloaked. And that's why it went down. The Overseer wasn't nearby, allowing the other Banshee to get away. That's 13 workers now. This game is much more INnoVation favored right from the start. And as we see a lot of roaches building up, I get the feeling, I mean, I talked about a roach attack. I get the feeling a +1 attack, missiles +1 carapace attack may very well be coming through here. And there's a Nidus network that works as well. That's definitely one way to make this happen. So upgrades coming through as Hellions running by into the mineral line though. 6 drones just get roasted, and there's 2 more for 8. I mean, those Hellions don't have much of a purpose to serve with roaches on the map. As we do see 8 drones going down. Again, it's just iAsonu being kept in a really tough position here. And INnoVation already building tanks, etc. He should be able to fight off a roach attack. The biggest issue is absolutely going to be the fact that the Nidus network is going to be a bit more complicated to deal with than just being like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to deal with a roach attack. So as long as INnoVation deals with the Nidus effectively, and he does see it with a Marine already, then he should be kind of okay. He has a tank in the main. He hasn't actually noticed the Nidus, but he'll hear it in a moment. Then he'll probably pay a bit more attention to it as the Banshee pushed away by a Queen in the center. Roaches start popping out in the main base. Nothing's here. The crowd is hyped. It's a good defense at the front. He just does need to also figure out a way to defend in the main. A couple of Marauders are going to stim into this. There's a lot of roaches, though. And there's a few more Marines on the way over. Going to really just rely on the siege tanks at the front here, actually, with that Banshee to help defend. I feel like another siege tank here will really be the savior, right? You get that siege tank a bit further back, and then you truly do push those roaches away. INnoVation is dealing with an attack on the front. We're going to switch to that now, man. Those tanks are just doing so much, though. Medevac's getting out of corrosive bar reach. Looks like everything is going to go into the main base now. This is where INnoVation's going to have to switch up his defensive positioning, right? He's going to have to bring all of his army back over here. And now he doesn't have the tank support that he really needs. So iAsonu using this to, well, he's actually going to get the factory. So now there's not going to be any more tanks coming through. However, INnoVation's going to stim onto this. Corrosive Bars kind of just miss, and these Ravagers are fumbling forwards rather than going back to the Nidus for whatever purpose. That is a hold from INnoVation. Losing at the factory is obviously painful, as we will see this siege tank going down now. INnoVation going to lose some SCVs over there as well. Only have a couple of tanks were in the front, so they're actually going to arrive before anything else. So INnoVation is going to save those with the medevac, but he really is running out of tanks. And again, he lost the factory, so building more tanks is not really a, it's not really very easily done here. As we're going to be seeing the SCVs continue to come through and mine away happily, somewhat happily in the main. There's one roach which has actually been very annoying. Don't know how this roach is still around. Don't know where it hid, as we see a Ravager on the third. So INnoVation loses 16 workers. The big difference is really, truly the army. As you can see, INnoVation finds this Nidus network this time around. He should be able to get rid of this roach. This was a little bit sloppy from him, leaving this to stay alive. But he's going to be able to get that roach, and he should be able to work on this from here now, as we do see. Again, roach is pressing forwards. By pressing through, roach is taking a lot of damage, and that's just going to be GG. INnoVation is going to grab game number 2 here, and he's going to tie up. For the moment, guys, going to have to stick with this. Again, I'm going to keep trying to fix it, and go from there as we try. Sorry, obviously this is a bit of an unexpected issue. Not something I was really expecting to have a problem with, so I'll just have to keep on trying. But yeah, that was actually maybe better until I had the screen chopped off at the bottom, which is very hard to just fix because, well, it's... Maybe I could try if it's full screen capturing it. Ooh, maybe that would work. Okay, I've actually got a plan for the next break, how we're going to try and fix it. After this game, I've got another plan. Fingers crossed, guys. I think I'm onto something. Maybe. Possibly. It's kind of better. I think it's just random when it happens, though. That's the problem. Anyways, let's talk about the game. Again, apologies for the slight problems. I hope you can still enjoy the games. As we do see Lings and the Queen main. Really nice Reaper blocking that third hatchery from coming down. Another pretty standard opener. Big thing here is INnoVation decides to play very greedy. Third CC with 1 gas. So very, very quick third command center here. As you are going to be seeing that drone. Builds an extractor, decides not to. Now the Reaper hops up into the main base, so continue to move around and trying to find a bit more damage around the map. And as we see, Zerglings are nibbling away on some of those rocks. They're going to get, it's just a bit of dancing between the Reaper and the Lings. Nothing too crazy here. Not just yet, at least. So third hatchery going to be coming through, finishing in a few moments. Ooh, the fusion core, damn. Fast 3cc into a fusion core, so INnoVation may be wanting to play with some Battlecruisers here. The crowd noticing that fusion core is like, whoa. Reaper hops up through the third base, going to be moving through into the main as well in the next couple of moments, so moving through into the main, going to see some Zerglings running in. Reaper gets deflected. Saw the lair on the way up, though, right, which is pretty good info. This is, I mean, the most standard game we've seen so far from iAsonu, I think. He's not going to take tons of damage, like, from Banshees at least, so obviously we'll see what the BC ends up doing. If it's BC, I mean, advanced ballistics on this map, not really many great positions for advanced ballistics, right? So I'm pretty sure it is just the Battlecruiser. So yeah, Battlecruiser it is. Now, Battlecruisers are typically weak to very quick attacks, but there is definitely ways to hold them if you know how to respond correctly, so I'm sure INnoVation does have that plan in his mind. As we are going to be seeing the lair continuing through here. 6 queens on the way, a bunch of queens up, 6 queens out at the moment, so queen's obviously going to be very important in terms of what he does to deal with this. As double armory drops down, so INnoVation going to be meching behind this as well. So I'm going to be setting up a fast spire out of iAsonu. That kind of works in a bit of a weird way though, because the fast spire is going to mean that the fast spire is going to mean that he's going to have access to corruptors, although he will not have them immediately when this BC first comes across the map. As he scans across here, he's going to see, wow, what a scan, spire and the roach roaring spotted. I mean, he just knows every choice of iAsonu so far. Well, he has to see the Spore Crawler there too, so he knows whether he should jump straight into the mineral line or not with the BC. Oh, he's going to jump into the main, but 3 queens and a Spore Crawler await him. He's going to get a drone, and he's just going to be straight out of there. INnoVation not wasting too much time. 2 queens and a Spore on the third base. Wow, iAsonu is super prepared. Wow, how is iAsonu so... I think iAsonu is just being very careful this game, and so far it is working for him. As the thing is, INnoVation, he doesn't necessarily need too much of this BC, especially because his opponent's already going Spire. Like, he hasn't wasted too much time, I would say, and he's already on a very good work count. Like, he is only 3 workers behind, so the BC has achieved some things here, and I mean, this 4th base, for example, taking some shots is not going to go down, but is weakened for a little bit later on. And again, just going to be seeing the BC continue to escape away through to the top side. A couple of 4s continuing up there, about halfway done. The Infernal Pre-Igniter on its way through as well, +1 vehicle weapons and plating. So just going to be seeing 2 more factories added in to the main base. Is this BC still coming across the map? It's just coming back home. I mean, actually wouldn't be bad to have the BC in position to try and help deflect the mutas, or just having it on one base so the mutas can't really do as much there without taking damage. So as we see the mutas flying in, SCV is going to start taking some damage here already. First SCV down. 4s are here though. Wow, didn't get another shot off when the mutas were super clumped up. The BC shows up, gets a bit of a nibble. Aliens on this right side, obviously they don't shoot fire into the skies. There's a missile turret here. It's actually a weird missile turret position because it means that it's not in the mineral line, it's behind it, so it's actually a lot harder to repair with the SCVs. And if it's a lot harder to repair, then obviously you have a much tougher time in general. You know, keeping it alive when the mutas dive on top of it. So mutas up to the top side, and we're going to be seeing another scan in the base. We're going to see a few Crypt tumors being sighted there as mutas will fly into this main base now. Gonna find the missile turret. INnoVation late on the repairs, and by the way, big Ling Roach follow up to this now, so iAsonu looking to bust INnoVation in the next few moments. INnoVation has had tank production coming through though. Attack on the third base already moving forwards, and now Lings and Roaches on the natural as well. It's the third base that's in a lot of trouble at the moment, I'd say. This BC, where's it going? Because I feel like the BC should maybe come and target down those Ravagers. Maybe it's gone to deal with the mutas? I guess so, right? Nothing else really makes too much sense. 2 tanks at the front are now going to be jumped on top of. A 4 will pull to the left-hand side to try and help out. And looks as though actually this will be okay. The mutas in the main base are being fought with the BC. We've seen that in the picture-in-pictures. Roaches and Ravagers will continue to drop, and INnoVation is going to hold on. He's got good upgrades as well, INnoVation, so that's going to really help him continuing forwards in this game. And even though he's lost 19 workers, he's still kept himself up at 60 SCVs, so he's constantly been building more workers. And because of that, he's now in a position actually where iAsonu still isn't in a real economic advantage or anything, despite the damage dealt. Alright, so, going to see +2 vehicle weapons in play and starting up now also. Just getting those 2-2 on the way. Nidus network into the main man. iAsonu is trying to be everywhere. He's really trying to pull INnoVation apart. INnoVation sees that Nidus coming up. He's going to send the BC there, get his couple tanks in position. He's still leaving a lot on the low ground because he knows there is still an army across on this side. And yeah, with tanks in position there, this should be fine. And again, iAsonu is not going to find an entry point. Roaches will get behind the mineral line, but again, you're killing 3 or 4 workers for really a lot of roaches. This is not value, worth it at all. And as now we see the 4s going to be able to deal with the mutas pretty effectively as well. They might be able to get themselves a siege tank just because of the positioning. The 4s can't be everywhere. That is another Nidus killed off, and now INnoVation is starting to claw his way into an overall supply advantage, which obviously becomes a little bit crazy here as we're going to be seeing the infestation pit dropping down into the main base. Another Nidus coming up at the front, and just going to be seeing that Battlecruiser going to be able to shoot down this Overseer in the next couple moments. So Overseer going to get taken down, and again scan on the bottom side of the map. Just going to see 22 more Lings coming up, a few more Mutalisks as well. More and more tanks continue to siege, and INnoVation really is at that point where as he begins to max out here, he should be able to start finding his way across the map and into an even better position as Lings and Roaches running up this ramp. Couple of supply depots in a lot of trouble, and he is going to break through into the natural expansioners. I mean, iAsonu getting through again, but he's just going to run into so many tanks so quickly, it feels like. And those tanks that are sieged up are going to deal so much damage. Mutalisks flying back in on that right hand side. That missile turret goes down again. It was not in a good position to be repaired, so that was a problem we kind of saw coming a little bit earlier on. And the BC coming through to deflect, and again you can just see as 7 SCVs go down. Yeah, okay, it's damage, but INnoVation's army supply stays way up there because iAsonu is just trading off so much to make this work. Another Nidus off to the side. And you still see Hellbats gathering into the middle. Nidus finishes up, and Mutalisks also flying around the map a little bit at the moment. BC gets back across the map for some damage. I mean, dealing some eco damage. Not sure how much that really means for INnoVation, although I guess at this point 9-10 workers. It's just the armor upgrade on that Battlecruiser. That's ridiculous. 12 workers killed. When the meters were on top of it pretty quick, the Queens got there pretty fast as well. It's really quite surprising, I think. So yeah, that really is a little bit of a surprise, as we are going to be seeing the Blue Flame Hellions showing up to pick their way through this Nidus network as well. So Nidus will go down. Meanwhile, Hive Roaches on the way up. Missile turrets are firing on the mutas. We didn't get shown that. And Roaches and Ravage in the middle, pushing those Hellions back away once again. 4's able to keep on putting out some damage also. So the 4's not doing that too badly in that regard. These mutas still just trying to see what they can pick off whenever possible. And as you do see this tank coming through, I mean, that Nidus I think is pretty much doomed to die. So looks like the Nidus will indeed go down. Another scan on top of that main base, just keeping track of what's going on over there. Meanwhile, Great Aspire coming up, a couple more Vipers coming into play. I mean, iAsonu is going to hit kind of a late game, and he does have a bit of a bank in play, but that's mostly because his current army is still only Roaches, so it's not really like, yeah, he's got a bank because he kind of needs to trade off some Roaches and build some better units in the first place. INnoVation looks like he's playing pretty passively and just sitting back a little bit. Why are there no Swarm Hosts? Swarm Hosts aren't really that good against mech anymore, and obviously it depends what style of play, what style you're going for. Swarm hosts, to get enough of them is quite a big investment, and in this game specifically, I think iAsonu was just already in a position where he obviously committed a lot to the attacks earlier, so building Swarm hosts just wasn't an option. Instead, he wanted to keep building units right then and there, and to stay alive until he got up into the Hive Tech. Man, these Mutalisks are being so annoying. They're going to be finally chased away with not much health left on them. Liberators being one of the main choices now, by the way, as well. Liberators are very good at holding the ground, but then can also help out a bit in the skies. Obviously, they're not amazing against Corruptors, but if the Corruptors are stacked up, the splash can definitely add on quite a bit. Lings, Banes, Ravages, and Roaches back down through the center. Tanks are going to unsiege, and as the tanks unsiege, INnoVation's building up full command, and his advanced ballistics about to complete as well. Well, iAsonu has been allowed to get into his late game a little bit here after INnoVation probably could have attacked a little bit earlier on. Roaches around the left-hand side to try and see what they can do as they push up into this natural. Two tanks already dealing quite decent damage on the front. SCVs pulling forwards. Another tank or two on the way back. A lot of damage being dealt so far as Roaches will burrow up in a couple different positions. I'm just going to be seeing these tanks continuing to pick their way through those Roaches. So Roaches will go down. And all of the Roaches coming in over on the right-hand side. Not going to be able to do too much just yet. We're still seeing just Corruptors being built, but there is Vikings on the way from INnoVation as well, so it's not like he's completely doomed against this. He definitely does have a good setup to... I mean, he's got so many fours as well. His anti-Broodlord army is really quite decent as he goes up to 6 bases now, taking that forward base already as well. Finds a Nidus that was positioned over to the right side. Not sure what we really got to see from there. Not too much. A little bit more creep going down. Another Nidus, but I can't actually see anywhere, so doesn't look too crazy. Anyway, Spire coming up. So that's going to be a second Spire for double upgrades on the air units. A siege tank left alone. There's another Nidus on the top right-hand side. iAsonu trying to consistently use these to move around the map and manipulate his control of the map into his own favor. 2 more starports are really building up into a lot of air units. This might be the preparation to go Battlecruisers for INnoVation. He starts up your Mortar Cannon. He's also getting Magfield Accelerator, so he might look to add a few more Cyclones into play. The thing is, I think INnoVation has the bases and the money to go Battlecruisers, and if you can max out on BCs, they are absolutely terrifying, trust me. It's getting to max out BCs that can be the biggest problem, but obviously INnoVation is very safe to sit back here and do that if he wants to. And these Lings are slightly annoying on the run by, but only because the Planetary Fortress wasn't finished yet. INnoVation will defend until the Planetary Fortress is done, and that's the most important part, because that's usually the toughest part, as one Ling survives into the natural. iAsonu is still expanding as well, though, so still does have his own set of bases up and running for the moment. A single Zergling still nibbling this tank, no way. Oh my god. One Zergling kills the siege tank, can you believe it? Ravager's still sat in the center. A couple Broodlords moving through as well. We do see some Broodlords here going to be chased away also. So those Broods getting chased back for the moment. A couple tanks still pressing forwards. BC also coming through. And there's the Cyclones again, just getting that little bit more done. Fours pressing down to the bottom side. Gonna find this base. INnoVation has a good army to the right as well. It's just surprising he's left this little chunk on its own, although the Broodlords were not in position, so will work out for the moment. Liberator's going to siege up in a couple of different mineral lines. The Corruptors are nearby though, so it's mostly just a little bit of an annoyance. The thing is, at this stage of the game, it's a very affordable annoyance for INnoVation, right? And you know, it can definitely keep iAsonu pulled back and so on. He is pushing forwards again with this army on the left, but Broodlords are in position to defend that, so as INnoVation trades out, he is just trading out supply to build up Battlecruisers and a Raven, so playing this nice and slow and seeing what he can do with it. What's up, friends? Thank you so much for the 7-month resubs, and thanks for the content. Thank you for the 7 months resubscribing. Much appreciated. There's a Raven, more BCs coming through, 5 more Corruptors being brought into play as well. And just going to be seeing a couple of Infestors on the way out. More Corruptors, Infestors. I mean, it's still, iAsonu is getting into a decent army. INnoVation's been slowing them down a little bit on this bottom left-hand side, but I guess the thing is that INnoVation is just very happy building up into his dream army at the moment too, right? With 5 Battlecruisers in production, he seems very happy with this so far. Very, very happy. BCs on the right side are going to get rid of... Oh, sorry, Broodlords on the right side are going to get rid of a couple SCVs. You know, SCVs are chasing Queens forwards here. They just want to get traded out. Again, INnoVation is freeing up supply for even more Battlecruisers. This is another ground push. I mean, the ground army just pushing on its own. He's going to get another cancel on the base down here. Even that bottom side base that the tanks are hitting the extractor of, I mean, that could potentially go down. It's tough, though, because Broodlords will be on the way over. Looks like the tanks are going to be left there on the high ground while the 4s will back away. Oh my god, he's going to get quite a few drones here, actually, as they just show up. Yeah, there's quite a few, 6 workers, right, and he's just going to stop the mining there for a little while longer. These 2 tanks also going to siege, not sure how much they'll get done. Just firing onto spines. No target fire on the hatchery, actually, which is a shame, because probably could have achieved a little bit more, as these Broodlords will now fall. And while it's slow and meticulous, it has been cleaning up the map, you know? We've been seeing this entire map being cleaned of creep, and now it really isn't anywhere near as, you know, pushed out as it was before, as these Liberators are going to go sieging up on multiple different bases again, just picking off drones, probably also feeling like it's past that point where he needs Liberators as part of his army. Now BCs show up on the right side of the map, and that's another hatchery cancel, more creep tumors from the 4s in the center, and all of this really adding together as we do see the Liberators firing away. 13 drones down. iAsonu, I mean, at least he does already have a bank, because his continuous gaining of resources is now going to slow. INnoVation has actually quite a lot of gas in the bank, not many minerals, but that's quickly solved by a drop down of mules whenever needed. Drone's going to go into the bottom left corner, mine away there. Spire about halfway done. Corruptors, Broodlords, and Ravagers gathered up in the center of the map. Again, those Battlecruisers just still on the way through. Another cancel bottom left. INnoVation's going to take this right-hand side base as these BCs, man. There are a few Vikings to support them. I mean, there is not a lot that can kill these, although there is a lot of Infestors in play, and they could definitely have something to do about it. And they're going to get in position right here. Here we go. This is going to be huge because the Fungal Growth comes down. Is there not Neuroparasite? Well, the Fungal stops the teleport. Okay, there's Neuroparasite. As the Fungal fades, we will see the teleporters away. That's not a bad little pick-off, honestly, from iAsonu. And that's going to be INnoVation's problem. Those fights. Just going to be seeing the Broods moving around on the bottom side. Man, INnoVation's really trying to set up like something on that right. If he can hold that right side, then he can trade kind of badly and still win this, because obviously he's out-mining his opponent. More and more starports coming through, more Vikings. There's going to be those Infestors, which will cause quite a problem. The Fungals, the Neuroparasites. I think that's going to be one of the bigger problems here for INnoVation. Is while Fungal Grove grabs the Raven there, turns around, gets some Yamato cannons off. Another big Fungal, and oh my god, parasitic bombs as well. Oh my god, INnoVation is losing a lot of these BCs, and of course teleports on cooldown. However, iAsonu is going to fly into a missile turret cloud to kind of kill this. So the missile turrets are dealing tons of damage, and so the Corruptors in the end, I mean, it's a lot of Corruptors lost. The thing is, INnoVation does not have a bank to rebuild, and now the Infestors are showing up with Neuroparasites. You know what? I think these BCs might indeed be going down. Because iAsonu, well, he has, actually, I guess iAsonu doesn't have that much gas to rebuild. As the last BCs are going to get chased away to the top side, iAsonu is going to make this work out. There we go, teleports the last couple home into his reinforcements. There's a lot of corruptors that went down though actually, and that's the big problem. With more BCs already coming through, they really could still kind of fight this here. iAsonu, again, he doesn't have much gas to keep rebuilding. Has to build overlords right now as well, currently supply blocked. This base not actually mining gas, I'm very surprised. Feels like this base has just been, unless he already pulled the SCVs away very preemptively. Well, this is going to be one of the bases going down here. There's a couple of units, I think Cyclone's attacking the bottom left base as well, as iAsonu's going to focus on the attack. This hatchery might go down. There's not much responding to it at the moment, as Caustic Spray takes down a base there. Another orbital will drop down, so INnoVation now down 2 of his bases, and he lost the right-hand side of the map as well, of course. Not sure if the Cyclones are still fighting in the bottom left-hand side, and they will kill the hatchery, by the way. Oh no, a BC teleported in, so the Cyclones got cleaned up, a BC teleported in to finish it off. Well, INnoVation is going to max out once again, and also will iAsonu, but again, iAsonu's gas bank not what it used to be, so he's going to struggle to rebuild like he just did. As here we go, INnoVation a bit more spread out this time as he comes on through. Big fungal growth though, right in the center of the Vikings. Yamadakan's setting up, and he's going to hit a few of them already. There's so many Neurals going down. The thing is, these Corruptors really are dying in the front. As the Corruptors go down, everything else will definitely fall very quickly afterwards. He's targeting down Infestors, which are Neuroparasiting, and I think that's just too much loss from iAsonu here, as now he's going to lose the last few Corruptors, he's going to lose the Broodlords, and that is an irreplaceable army which he's losing. GG from iAsonu. INnoVation takes game number 3 of this best of. Alright. So we probably lost some quality, but if it's smoother, I think that's a better, option. I think that's just the better option we have. Oh, theater mode and minimize chat? Okay, yeah, I'll do that after, guys. I'll do that after. I just don't want to waste too much time in this game. Awesome. That's good. Now it lags again. Now it's better, no lag. Ay, ay, ay. It's still a bit laggy. I think it is better. Obviously, we will lose some quality, but yeah, I think for the moment it's better, guys. So we're gonna run with it like this for the moment. All right, so Reaper is moving around and getting this set up. We're gonna see link speed coming through, and so on and so forth. So. Getting this going, a couple of Hellions on the way. And yeah, Thunderbird, nice large maps. So from King's Cove to Thunderbird, 2 very similar maps kind of back to back here in this series. Definitely going to make this quite intriguing to see how this plays out. Now of course, the loser of this series will go to a 3rd place match. And after this we have Scarlet vs Special coming up as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun too, as a couple of Hellions just coming down to the bottom right hand side. And yeah, let's get this set up for the moment or so. Cloak Banshees once again, really not surprised about that from INnoVation. I think that's a very expected way for this to go, based on what we're seeing so far, so not too surprised about that at all. As a Marine gonna go fighting against an Overlord and having a look to see what's going on. Hellions taking a little bit of damage here and there. So the 3rd CC will start up as part of the wall. Very expected way to get that going, not really surprising. Lay on the way up here in the main base. Sorry, just sorting a couple things out. As we see that Liberator sieging up, gonna push a few drones away. Spore Crawler gonna get shot off though to push the Liberator back a little bit. It's a little bit back and forth here at the moment. I'm going to see more of these lings, queens, etc. all setting up for now. I'm just going to be seeing the extra additional Evo chambers, Banner Nest. Lots of upgrades coming through for the moment, and 1-1 upgrade, Stim Pack on the way out, Siege Tank also coming through, Orbital Commands. Very typical so far here on Thunderbird, so a lot of just describing what's going on, but it really is just kind of the typical setup, right? So not much else to say, just for the moment. There's going to be melee upgrades again from iAsonu, so looking towards perhaps... Well, I say melee upgrades again. He didn't actually play melee upgrades last game, right? He played missile upgrades for that Roach Ravager. So this is something very different for iAsonu here as that Liberator found 5 workers. One of them ran back behind them. Oh my god, the Queen was pushing one of those drones back in. Didn't quite hit in the end. There's going to be an unsiege, and the Liberator will be saved. Might just go home to get repaired before coming back. Nice opening from INnoVation. Again, just the one dealing damage, putting iAsonu into a tough spot here. After that first game, INnoVation has absolutely been killing it here. So we've been doing a pretty good job of this so far. As you're gonna see some Hellions sat out in the center of the map. We're gonna be seeing still just giving some control. Now a Marine drop coming across, so this is gonna be INnoVation's first chance to deal even extra damage, of course. Single Zerglin will see the Medivacs come in though. So nice scout from iAsonu. That Ling, very nice for him, just for the preparation he can make for that now. Just knowing about that a little bit ahead of time, it should keep things nice and happy for him. There's some Lings nibbling their way through some rocks. Looks like INnoVation will drop off to the right hand side here, grabs the creep tumor pretty quickly. And we'll scan for some more creep tumors. The Ling Bane runs away, doesn't come through to deal with this just yet, which I find kind of surprising. Like, he has decent energy on the Queens, but I feel like he could have defended those creep tumors, but just didn't want to lose any units at all apparently, so just backing away. Now just allowing INnoVation to do what he wants so far. INnoVation's like, okay, you were killing those rocks. INnoVation just rallying across the map. The thing is, if INnoVation now wants to rally push, killing those rocks would be really good for him. In fact, he is going to go through the dead center, though. It's kind of weird, because like, I don't feel like... I guess there's obviously creep spread here that he can kill, but I don't feel like there's necessarily like a reason to push this direction, compared to just knocking down those rocks. Then you'd get on top of that base, which he is pushing towards a lot faster anyways. Really good pre-split from INnoVation. Those Banelings aren't going to do anything. New Banelings are on the way in now. INnoVation's Marines have clumped up a little bit. Looks like INnoVation's backing away. The Liberator is back. The Queen is just going to survive there, and he is going to get 2 drones before the Liberator is dealt with. Now INnoVation does pull all the way back and might just turn and might, again, just take down those rocks and push that fourth, right? Because that is the kind of easier position to push. I'm not sure why he was going through the center to begin with. Maybe just because he really did want to clean out creep. And that really does slow the Zerg down from taking presence on the map elsewhere. As we are going to be seeing those Marines pressing forwards. Widowmine's going to get themselves burrowed as well. That's an Overseer in the sky that goes down. Widowmine's going to get some good shots. Oh my god, the Widowmines are going to just blow up all of the Banelings, and now INnoVation. He's going to have quite a lot of Marines left, however. Here come the extra Banelings, and that's going to be the deal breaker. INnoVation will not push through here. He will be turned around. There's another Widowmine going off, and a couple of Banelings going to get picked up. 4th base building up, about halfway done there. So 4th base continues through for the moment as you're going to see these Marines dropping down again, lifting back up. Widowmine going to get a shot, nothing too crazy though. So 4th CC will finish soon. Spire Hive continuing in at the moment. There's our 2-2 upgrades. Will also be finished soon. Widowmine's going to burrow and go a few different ways. Oh my god, 13 drones. Oh, and the Lings as well. INnoVation, what a set of Widowmines. He is burning away with this game. He's already 2-2 as well, so this push could be so deadly for iAsonu, who is down on upgrades, going to try and defend this. This is going to be really, really, really difficult to hold off now. I'm just going to see these Marines pressing forwards. Baneling's in a lot of trouble here. I mean, the first few Banes go down extremely quickly. Queen goes down, the rest of these Banes dropping as well. Oh my god, so many Marines here for INnoVation to try and do something. I'm just not sure if it's going to be enough. So many Marines just pulling back into the center. INnoVation has just got so many units. And really, just this game was just a typical... This is one of those games where... I think for the first time this series, INnoVation has just looked straight up better than iAsonu, right? I don't think that was the case in games 1, 2, or 3. I think, you know, INnoVation obviously won the games, but iAsonu put up a good fight. Those Banelings hitting quite nice. I think this is the first game where INnoVation just does a bit of damage, keeps pushing, the macro is really tough to deal with, and iAsonu just can't quite compete and compare with the macro of INnoVation. Like, it really, this feels like this in this game. But again, it's only been this game, so that's really nice. iAsonu has put up a fight, but man, he is on the way out at the moment. As we are just going to be seeing the Marines Marauders coming around the side. Pressing through, a couple of crew teamers being picked off. Bio again, hitting on the hatchery. Here we go, Lingsbane's Hydra's going to start running through. Widowmines going off all over the place. The Bio is going to get rid of another few Zerglings. Again, INnoVation's just sort of running back into Widowmines, dealing damage. Going into Starport and a Fusion Core. Man, like, is there any need INnoVation? Just kill him. INnoVation's just playing this very safely on 4 bases. He's very comfortable. Another Widowmine drop. He's not going to go running in and maybe throwing this game away. So just playing this very safely, very easily. And just getting himself into a nice little spot. That is a kill on a medevac though, so that's a nice denial by iAsonu at least. INnoVation building a 5th base to the left-hand side. Corruptors on the way out as Broodlords will be here in the next few moments. That is the goal from iAsonu. That's what he's been building towards. INnoVation, what's he going to do with the Starports? Probably just... I kind of feel like he might go Liberators initially, but then of course he does have them up to build Broodlords when he sees the... build Vikings when he sees the Corruptors and potentially Broodlords. Those Banes, man, they are starting to get very close. He had to pull off the creep there before he could truly turn that around. No drilling claws on those Widowmines, right? It's interesting as well for just the timing of this game. INnoVation just trading out here, keeping up the pressure of the 3 free upgrades that have already finished. And 3 free upgrades are pretty crazy, gotta say. They allow you to trade so very well. Again, a few more Broodlords building up here. Bio again wants to maybe... Again, just pick it away a little bit. There's not many Banelings in this, so it's kind of at that point where the Bio can almost just stim into the Hydras. Banelings are the one thing that really pushes those Marines back usually. A couple of Banelings here, caught morphing in INnoVation. And again, pulling back to the Widowmines, just waiting for that Lingbane to sort of blow up, really. And he's just building up Liberators and Bio at home. I mean, I don't think INnoVation's reinforced that army for an eternity almost. I'm tempted, yeah, he's got so much back at home. So much ready to come across the map. The mines do have drilling claws? Yeah, you're right. I can see it now. It's because I'm now casting off of smaller windows so you guys don't get lag. So I'm like squinting like, did that mine burrow already? Has it? Has it got a big red line coming out of it? My bad, guys. Sure, resources lost. I have no control of the game. This is a clean feed, so I'm not observing, so I can't show you guys anything. Liberator coming down the right side and turns back into the Hydras. I kind of thought it had lib range. I was expecting to just siege up, but not the case. INnoVation pushes the right, kills a drone, kills some creep. And again, just pushing down into a position where you can potentially hit that base in the bottom right. Lingless Banes and Hydras still chasing Widowmines up away to the top, and again, overall here, we do have INnoVation, I think, quite comfortably backing off, even getting a high-sec auto tracking, Neo-Frame Steel, Neo-Steel Frame. I'll get the words right one way or another, eventually. Medevacs and bio units coming around into the center of the map. Liberator going to move into the... A couple of Liberators going to move on the left-hand side, going to see... Drone getting picked off there. That's about it, though. Again, Hydras have been well positioned lately to defend those sort of attacks. INnoVation really just playing this into the very later stages as Marine's going to find Corruptors here. That's actually pretty sweet because obviously those Corruptors are meant to be a big point of defense to help protect the Broodlords. INnoVation tries to pick up a Broodlord there. Widowmines are burrowed and we'll get a couple of shots off. Is there really only one Broodlord? Okay, the others are just trailing behind quite heavily. I mean, they're really far behind compared to where they should be, right? As iAsonu is going to push INnoVation back down this ramp. I think INnoVation's kind of fine just fighting because he's off creep, right? And I mean, the Broodlords aren't going to be able to keep up with this, so he's just kiting and trading out and building up Ghosts and Vikings and everything back at home. I think he is absolutely, completely okay with this current situation, so feels like INnoVation is feeling alright for the moment. As we do see a few more Ghost Academies being added in, looks like it might be time to drop some nukes. INnoVation kind of, again, I feel like he could have ended this game. He was doubling the army supply and more, and he could have definitely put on enough pressure to, at the very least, right, if he didn't end the game, iAsonu would have never gotten up to Broodlords, because there would have been no way he could have afforded Broodlords while making enough Lingbane Hydra to just about stay alive, push after push. So INnoVation did let him get here, but I think INnoVation let him get here knowing full well that he is the controlling player and that he's very comfortable in these sort of situations and positions as 4 nukes start up. The crowd loves it, of course they do. Chinese crowd very audible today. It's very fun to hear. As we are going to be seeing the again, this Bioforce on the left getting set up. Widowmine's going to blow up some Broodlings to begin with. Our command center in that bottom left goes down. Surprised we didn't see that lifting up as the Vikings kiting back a little bit at the moment, but it looks as though they're actually going to overwhelm the Corruptors, which means the Broodlords are obviously in a lot of trouble. iAsonu is already trying to run away. That isn't promising for our Zerg players. Some Banes and Lings will run through, but again, it's going to be them Vikings going to get rid of the last few Corruptors. I can't really tell you what, there's actually some Hydras on the ground that might be able to save the day for the moment, but I mean, it really is just those Hydras, a couple Banelings as well. Ghosts are pulling back. I think the Ghosts will mostly just about survive. INnoVation, man. What has happened here in the last couple of moments? He might actually have to land the Vikings to help him defend this? No, surely not. Well, he is going to land them. Oh my god, iAsonu's kind of starting to break through the front. I mean, the Vikings will clean this up. The Ghost Cloak, there's no detection here available. The Vikings lift up in the sky, get rid of those Broodlords first. But they're flying into Hydras to do it, which is obviously pretty expensive. Doesn't want to lose too many, because then dealing with the upcoming Corruptors is going to be difficult. INnoVation will hold on, but this was a lot more difficult than I think anyone was expecting it to be. I mean, INnoVation just going to continue across now, and I think there was just all of a sudden this swell of ground army that INnoVation wasn't expecting, and, you know, then the Vikings had to back away, and suddenly his army in the middle was just kind of a bit caught out. Splitting up now off of Creep, these Banes are just that little bit slower, which means the Marines can fight them that much easily, or that much more easily. Right now, he only has 4 Vikings left or so, so if Broodlords came back up, that would be a problem, but I just don't think you can afford Corruptors or Broodlords while making this many Hydras to try and break through, and that is the issue for iAsonu as he runs his last few units through. That's GG, and INnoVation is going to take this series. That's going to be a 3-1 win for INnoVation.